and welcome back to KXAN Plus. I'm your host, Esmeralda Zamora, and if you're watching us live on our social media or on our website, happy Sunday and good morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm here today with our KXAN meteorologist, Rich Segal, to talk all things weather questions, right?
Yes.
How are you doing, Rich?
Our viewers have given me some easy questions this week, and so I'm grateful for that because, in answer to your question, how am I doing? As soon as you and I are done this morning, I start my vacation. We will have a show next Sunday, even though I won't be in the weather office. We pre-recorded that, and then we have another one the following Sunday because I'll happen to be off then too. But we didn't want to leave you without answering your questions, and we'll still take as many questions as you want to send to us, but I'm doing great today.
I know, you're very anxious to
It's
get...
my first vacation of 2025.
That's awesome. You
Yeah.
deserve a great vacation,
Thank you.
and I know you're ready to get in that car and head to that vacation, right?
Headed to softball, national softball tournament.
Nice.
I'll be announcing there on Friday and Saturday. So I
Yeah.
thought I'd just take the whole weekend and just go over and see my friends.
Yeah, why not? Well, today we're going to be talking a few weather-related questions. I think my favorite one that you're going to answer is the last question that you've prepared or that viewers have prepared. But let's go ahead and start with that first one. So
All right.
the first one that we have is, how is an ozone action day determined?
I loved this question because they're important. One of the things that we noticed, by the way, ahead of the answer is that we did not have too many ozone action days in 2025 versus what we have had in the past. And when
That's
I
right.
get back next week, I'm going to be talking with a member of the Clean Air Force of Central Texas, Jim Stevens, about that. But the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality issues these ozone day action days, or what they call unhealthy for sensitive groups. It's when ground levels of ozone are going to be high enough to create the air being unhealthy. The weather conditions that are needed are pretty similar to what we have right now. Sunny, which we have
Yeah.
today, the dry weather and the hot temperatures and very little wind. But there is no ozone action day today. The ozone numbers have been relatively low, and that's good. That's always a good thing. But normally on an ozone action day, we wouldn't see as much in the way of cloudiness as we're seeing today too. So again, it's sunshine, emissions that come from vehicles, the exhaust that is belched out of vehicles, factories and power plants contribute to these ozone alert days that we have. And these days can cause problems for people who have respiratory issues at risk. Children are at risk for the ozone action days, people with lung diseases as well. And so this is why we tell folks to, if you are sensitive to the ozone or even the fine particulate matter, that you spend most of your day indoors as opposed to being outdoors and take the risk of of not feeling well.
Yeah, I liked how you mentioned that we haven't had as many ozone action days this year.
We've had less than 10, I know
Yeah.
that.
And last year we had quite a few. I remember
Yes, we
always
did.
hearing about ozone action days and why we have them, what we need to do when we have them.
They are more frequent late spring into the summer when the weather obviously is its hottest. We don't find any ozone action alert days when we're in the middle to end of fall, and especially in the winter season.
And for those individuals that you mentioned were most at risk during the ozone action days, where can they find the information or get notifications on their phone to know when those days are?
Well, when the alert is issued, we put it out on our website at KXAN.com. It's on our weather app as well. We will make sure that our viewers are fully aware. These days, by the way, when they declare an ozone action day, they declare it the day before for the following day. So there's ample time for people to get the information that they need on this. And we share the same tips all the time because the tips don't change. Don't fill your car with gas until once the sun goes down. Carpool if you can, things like that.
Yeah.
And we have a link to that on our website at KXAN.com.
Yes. Well, our second question for today is, does it snow in Austin? And I think last year this kind of answered our question, right?
Yeah, it's very infrequent that we do get snow in Austin, but it does happen, and it's happened we've had recent bouts of it.
Here
When it
and there.
does, yes, when it does happen, we usually just get light amounts, a trace to maybe less than an inch, or maybe a couple of inches. We usually will see snow on average about once every 2 or 3 years. This is when the temperature at all levels of the atmosphere is at 32 degrees or below, when the water droplets fall through the frozen precipitation and it continues at all levels at below freezing, then that precipitation will fall as snow. And I have a couple of examples. We go back a lot of the time. We'll talk about the winter event in February of 2021 when we had 6 inches of snow and it paralyzed the city.
Completely shut us down.
Completely shut us down, and then we had some snow the following year and I remember that more because I was staying at the hotel down the street because we were working 12-hour shifts, and that was in 2022. And then the largest snow event that we have in recorded history, 11 inches of snow in late November of 1931.
Wow, 11 inches.
That's a lot.
I
That's
wish
a
our
lot.
winters still looked like that.
Yeah, that's a lot anywhere, but it's a lot here.
Yep. in
11
Texas.
inches is a huge amount of snow. But when that happens in the southern climes, it's something to write home about.
Yeah. How many inches did we see last year?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember.
I don't think it was nearly
No.
up to 5. I think it was way less, right? And we didn't completely shut down last winter.
No,
we
no,
were still
did
working.
not. Yes, we were. We'll always be here. We're like the post office.
Yeah, we will always be here, even if we don't have power. Question number 3: what makes a successful forecast?
So this is one that I was really intrigued about. It's because it kind of falls along the heels of the question that I got about forecast accuracy. It's like, why do you always get the forecast wrong? I can only speak for myself. There is no set criteria about how a forecast is deemed successful. So for me, at various times of the year, I give myself a 2-degree either side of the forecast. So for today, I have 96, and I will consider this forecast successful at 94, 95, 96, 97, or 98. Other, like in the summertime, I don't give myself any leeway at all. And in the wintertime, there's more of a tendency for a little more leeway because winter temperatures, we really do get into those winter temperatures, are a little harder to forecast. Did it rain? If I have rain in the forecast, did it rain? And if my probability was 20%, did it rain in 20% of our forecast area? So were my percentages of rain accurate? I have not missed a forecast. If it doesn't rain in Austin today, but it does rain over in Fayette or Lee. We have rain in the forecast today for Fayette, Lee, eastern half of Bastrop and Caldwell counties. If we get a measurement of 0.01 and 10% of that portion of our viewing area, then I consider that to be a successful forecast. If I forecast severe weather, did it happen? And did it happen in the area where it was specifically forecast to happen? If we have severe weather warnings for anywhere in our viewing area and we had forecast a watch for our viewing area, that's a forecast that is accurate. And accepting that long-term forecasting decreases, people need to understand that the further in time you go, the accuracy of the forecast slips. You should have it right in the first 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 segments of a 7-day forecast, but then the accuracy drops off a little bit
towards the end of
towards the end,
7
and then
days.
especially for there are television stations across the country that do 10-day forecasts and 14-day forecasts.
I don't know how they do that.
And that's just way too much. That is just way too much. So viewers need to accept the fact that the further in time you go, especially 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th day, outside of the summer, that the forecast accuracy may drop a little bit. So for me, a 2-degree leeway on the other side, and if it does rain in those areas that I have suggested that it will rain today, then I consider that to be a successful forecast. Same thing for the wind. Did we forecast a strong wind day? Did we forecast a light wind day? And how did that turn out? So we're always doing our daily report card of our success and or failure. And I freely admitted a few weeks ago, and you may remember this, it's yes, I have missed forecasts before. And then we go back and we try to figure out what the variables were that led to the forecast mishap.
And this question reminds me a lot of that question that you always bring up, is it going to rain on my birthday? What weather am I going to have? You can't really tell, especially if you don't know the date, right?
Correct.
Well, our third question that was our third, right?
Yeah.
Our fourth is my favorite. What's your favorite weather season? And I know the answer, but I just want to hear it again.
I appreciate the fact that this question was asked. This was like, okay, this is a great way to talk about my favorite season. And my favorite season is, without question, it is autumn.
Not fall, autumn.
I love autumn. I love that word. Fall's a great word too, but autumn
It's prettier.
Pretty what?
It's prettier, right?
It's prettier. It's pretty earthy too.
It's pretty earthy too.
It's when we see finally the end of summer heat, and that'll happen, by the way, as we get into the end of this forecast period. Today it's going to feel like summer. Same tomorrow. Same on Tuesday. Tuesday is going to be our hottest day, but usually we start seeing the temperatures slowly start to fall. More cold fronts enter the area. There's no such thing as a cool front. It's a cold front. And these cold fronts also, not only do they provide a drop in temperatures, but also a drop in humidity. I love the part of the year when the leaves change color. When I first moved here, one of the things that I was missing about living up in the Northeast, I was born in Atlantic City, lived in the Philadelphia area, was going up to New England to see the changing colors, the reds, the oranges, and the gold hues. And, it's like, oh my gosh, this is part of why it's my favorite season. And you get an opportunity to break out the sweaters. Kristen and I talked about this.
You love your sweaters.
Monday. I do love my sweaters. I do. And I look forward to wearing them. And, it's just a great time. It's soup time, chili time, stew time.
Some hot cocoa time.
Hot cocoa.
Yeah.
All of those things that just make autumn one of those winters that you just want to hug with.
It just sounds so cozy, right?
It is. It is.
And the season makes the colors change in a different type of colors than in spring. Some people like the spring because it's so bright, but I think that the fall, autumn colors are so neutral, so warm, so cool toned. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, what's not to like about autumn? I understand, there are some people that love the winter. I can understand that. Same thing for spring and summer. Spring would be my second favorite season because we are transitioning out of up in the Northeast. When
Freeze.
It was cold, we would start seeing the warmer air, and that started to feel good. We still got our fair share of frontal systems with it. Sometimes these fronts that come through in the spring will lead to showers and storms. Sometimes these fronts that come through in fall just lead to a very placid drop in temperatures and humidity. And I love low humidity days, and so does Jayla, by the way. We've talked about that.
It's good
on
for
our
the
show.
hair, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is a great segue into our next topic of conversation. Who doesn't love fall? Obviously, those with allergies, right, Rich?
Yeah, so this is the reason for my blog today. Some of the fall allergens that we have in our area that make people sneeze and wheeze, cough, runny nose, scratchy throat, and things like that. And I wrote this yesterday and this morning. We talk about showing you our Austin allergy calendar, and you see only one tree pollen, you see a few weed pollens, and then at the very bottom, you see the grass and the mold. And we talk about, okay, which is the worst of the seasons for the mold? And you see mold lasts from January to December, all year. The grass pollen starts in spring, ends in fall. We don't have much grass pollen in the winter season. We explain why for that. We'll talk about how most of our trees bloom and pollinate in the spring, that only one of them pollinates and spreads its pollens in the fall, and that is fall elm and cedar elm. And we also mentioned that as we get later into the fall season and before the winter season starts, that we are prone to be subjected to the dreaded mountain cedar.
And this brings sniffles and sneezes all season long. And I think both of us have that right now, right?
I have mine from ragweed. Ragweed has always been the pollen that has given me the most trouble. But fortunately, I keep knocking on wood and knocking on my head that I have, unless the cedar counts are very high in the 5 figures, on the high four figures. I normally don't have much of reaction to the cedar pollen.
Really? I need to
I'm
get
lucky.
better.
I'm lucky.
Yeah,
Do you?
I do. To every type.
Cedar?
Yes.
Okay. Bad?
Yes.
Okay. What do you do for it?
Honestly, I haven't really been doing much because where I was living before in Corpus, it wasn't as worse.
Right.
But then I came here and it just started getting worse. So I had to take like a Claritin once a day. Then those stopped working. I have to move to Zyrtec. It's horrible.
See an allergist.
I know.
Just see an allergist. You may be able to get drops that will help curtail or some of the symptoms. But you should always, I always tell this to people who I know suffer from cedar. Do you keep up with your maintenance all year long? Because you can't just stop it when you are feeling better.
And that's exactly what I do.
Okay, well, okay. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just suggesting.
Yes, I understand. And we all are struggling in our own ways with this change of season too. So this article that you wrote is very, very helpful for a lot of our viewers.
It's something that we talked about before. These allergy seasons sometimes are starting sooner and ending later because of the warmth that we have. It's like, well, you say that I'm in the article, I say that the grass pollen should start coming to an end when we get the first freeze. Well, when will that be, and how hard will the freeze be? And that grass pollen gets killed off, not at a light freeze, but at a moderate freeze when the temperature will drop to 28 degrees or lower for an extended period of time. It kills off that grass pollen. So the article talks about that, but it's basic for ragweed is the worst. It releases 1 billion particles of pollen.
Yeah, I was reading that in your article.
It's like, wow, that just
one tree
can do that much damage to someone's health.
So
that's what we talk about today. We kind of kept it easy and just giving you the general update on the fall pollens here in Central Texas.
Yes, and although you are heading out of town, going on vacation, we still have our stream that we recorded for everyone on Sunday that will be coming out.
Yes, we didn't want to leave our viewers without getting answers to weather questions that they have, and we will always take the weather questions that you all have, and we'd like to get some more in. Weather Answers with Rich, you can send those questions to reportit, REPORTIT @KXAN.com.
Yes, and you can send that to that email. You can send it to any email that you find. We'll figure out where those questions are, and we will bring them to you here on Weather Answers with Rich.
Let me see if I can get this right. You can see us on Apple TV,
Roku
TV, Fire TV, and Samsung.
Yeah, I think you got all of them. Roku, Fire, Apple, and Samsung. Yeah, good job, Rich. You see,
I did my homework.
If you are interested in finding more streams like Rich and I's Weather Answers with Rich, or we have much, much more exclusive content with all of our meteorologists here at KXAN, you can find it on that free app, KXAN Plus, anywhere you get your streams. Thank you so much, Rich.
Thank you, Esme.
And I hope you have a great vacation.
Thank you.